Yes, you're welcome back from that break, and it's the interview segment on Frontline today. There are a lot of social vices. Yes, before we move to anti, there are a lot of social vices eroding the society that we find ourselves. And of course, the Royal Ambassador of the Nigerian Baptist Convention have been trying their best, in different states, in different conferences, to ensure that they curb the social vices, not only in our society but among the boys. And that is why we have the Anti-Social Vices Club in different conferences, and Ibadan Baptist Conference is not excluded. And today we want to talk about gambling, one of the social vices in our society that is actually eroding the community. And joining the discussion this morning is Councillor Ola Moses. He is the former Anti-Social Vices coordinator in Ibadan Central Baptist Association. You are welcome on the show.
Yeah, good morning, ma. Thanks for having me, ma.
Yes, gambling. We have numerous social vices, but today we want to talk about gambling. What exactly is gambling? Because if you ask, the young ones, they might not want to tell you that, what they are practicing is gambling. They have different names, coded names for it. So what exactly is gambling, and what are, the names that one can refer gambling to?
Thank you so much once again, and I want to say thank you to our listeners for having me. First of all, I would like to go straight to that question and what gambling is all about. Well, when we are talking about gambling refers to a process of putting money, because there are two things people need to know when we are talking about gambling. There is difference between investment and gambling. So people mixing it up in the sense that sometimes when somebody has money and he put it in something, believing that if I put my money into this, of course it will reproduce and I can have a feedback from what I have put there. So some youth feel it's a form of investment. So, but it's my joy to tell the whole world that it is not an investment. Gambling does not have any other name than to be called gambling. So what is gambling? Gambling is a process of putting money into something you are having either a risk or a profit. Two things, either a risk or profit. Take for instance, for somebody who actually go online betting, like Chelsea versus Man U. Oh, Chelsea will win this match. It is a risk. There is no certain. It is not even certain that what I am going for, this one will win or not. So anything anybody puts is money, because gambling involves in putting your money, your resources into it. And there is no certainty that what you are putting your resources to will come out in a positive way to you. So in a nutshell, gambling is a process of putting money or putting your resources to something that is not certain.
Now, what are the risks that are associated with gambling?
There are so many risks associated with it.
Okay.
And first of all, I would like to mention one, loss of resources. If somebody, and that will take me to what has just happened to Nigeria of recent, that all Nigerian youths, all Nigerian needs to learn from. There is something called CBES. Few months ago, some people, and that is why, while I was preparing, Holy Ghost, the Spirit of God dropped it in my mind that some people felt CBES is an investment. And that was the reason why they invested. Don't let me even use the word invested. They put their money into it. It is no any other name. That CBES is gambling. It's an example of gambling. So I'm talking about the risk. So I'm driving at somewhere. Yeah. So I'm just coming by bringing a practical what has just happened to Nigeria that all of us we need to learn from. Now putting your money in a CBES. Remember, it's a cryptocurrency process.
Yeah.
Things like that, we can call it no other name than gambling. Because it is something I'm putting my money today, and by tomorrow morning, if I put 100,000, by tomorrow morning it will become 150 or 200,000. It's a gambling. It is not, and compared to somebody who has money, let's assume I'm having 1 million naira, and I'm putting my 1 million naira in my bank account. Keep it there, fix it. And probably banker tells me that in the next 6 months, your 1 million naira will become, that one is an investment. It's not a gambling. But money I am putting somewhere that, oh, let me put this money because it will yield. No any other name. So now, the risk, let me now drive at that by saying, what are the risks that people experience when CBEX flops? We had so many people who landed in hospital. So many people killed themselves. So many people, you know, ran mad. Because somebody who has huge amount of money, who has actually kept somewhere, and the following money, there is nothing there again. Somebody can have a mental problem. So the risk of gambling is, number 1, loss of resources. 2, mental illness. 3, homelessness. Somebody who has house and who has play betting. People do it, man. People bet with their car. Yes, man. Yeah. People bet with their houses. That, oh, there is a particular house I have at Molete. If Chelsea win this match, you are taking the house. If Man U win this, I am taking this from you. Eventually, if that person lost, of course, that house does not belong to him again. So it can cause homelessness. Yes. People who have house, who have shelter, who have somewhere they are putting their heads to, can lose some of those things. So it can cause a mental problem for somebody because your reasoning, such fellows' reasoning will not go straight again. Somebody who has huge amount of money, who has actually thought within himself that, oh, if this money comes, I want to buy this, I want to buy that. Eventually that money is not coming. Automatically, he will be thinking abnormally. It can cause mental problem. It can cause homelessness and loss of resources. Something that somebody who has worked for many years, he has gathered a lot of things and he can lose it one day. So it's one of the risks of gambling. And that's the reason why all Nigerians, even not only royal ambassadors alone, not only Nigerian youth, because believe me, you older people are doing it. People who are aged are doing it. People who are more than 40, 50 years of age, they participated in CBEX. I practically mentioning this because I want to take it as a case study on its own. There are many other betting people are also going into. There is something they call it Lotto. That Lotto is offline betting. Somebody will just walk to a one-stop shop. He will go there. He will say, okay, these particular numbers will come out. They give out a number. They can give probably 5 number. They call it 3 direct, 2 direct. Yes. So they call it 3 direct, 2 direct. That one is not online. It's offline. So they just go to a shop and tell them, okay, I want to play with probably 1,000 naira. I want to believe that this Lotto, certain numbers of the certain number will come out. And eventually, if that number does not come, and somebody has put in huge amount of money like 500,000, people do play 500,000 with that Lotto. Yes. People play 1 million naira with that Lotto. We had case of celebrities here in Nigeria who put in over 100 million naira in CBEX. So these are the things that we can categorize as gambling because it is not sure that what you are. The computer says garbage in, garbage out. But the issue of gambling is not like that. Garbage in may not garbage out. What you are garbage in may not, because it is not sure. It is not sure.
Now, you've actually explained the risk, and I just wonder why, someone who is not sure if the money is going to come back will just bet the house, and, resources, something that you have worked for, your properties that you've worked for, will just bet, and he or she will just lose it like that. Now, you've mentioned earlier that another risk is it affects the mental health. Now, let's come to the family. How does gambling, it affect relationship, with people, maybe with family members, and of course, the community that person lives in?
Well, it is very simple. It affects relationship. Let's assume I'm a father of 2 children and I have a wife. And I have labored for long, I have a huge amount of money, and I put in that money into gambling. It could be online betting, it could be offline betting now, and I lose that money. And this is money that I need to use to send my children to school, to feed my children, my wife, to cater for my home. Of course, such children will become type of children that will get to school, will be begging for food when they get to school, because the father cannot provide food for such children. That type of woman will become a wife that can sleep around because the husband cannot provide needed things for the wife. So it will definitely affect the family in that angle. Let me now switch to the other angle when we are talking about royal ambassador, youth of the nation. Now, as a youth, if I involve in gambling and I need to put in my money to it, and I have done that, and eventually, remember what I said earlier, that I said computer says garbage in, garbage out, and I garbage in what I have as youth, and it doesn't come out as expected. And as a youth, I have focus, oh, I have a fiancé and we are getting married soon, and this is money I have, but it happens during MMM. MMM is also part of gambling. Who tells you that it is certain that what you are putting in will come out? So MMM too is gambling. It is not sure. So now, somebody is now having wedding probably in the next 6 months, and he has tried and tried and tried to get that money, and he felt within himself that, okay, let me put in this money so that it can come out in double fold, so that I can make use of it during my wedding. And that money is not coming out. Nothing is coming out. Remember, he's going to get wedded in the next 6 months. The family of his fiancés will be a kind of what is happening, because such wedding may not hold. So it will affect the fiancé, it will affect his own family, it will affect, because the family of the fiancé would have prepared. And if such wedding is not taking place again, it will affect all of them. It will affect the family. It will affect his own family. So gambling goes a long way, affecting family. It can cause a child to become somebody who roam around in the streets. Because if such man kill himself, of course, those children are fatherless. Those children have no someone who can look after them. And little the mother can do. So gambling, as a matter of fact, has a lot of negative side effects to the family. And that is the reason why everybody, not only Christian, even other Muslim, other religions, everyone need to go away from it. Everyone need to go away from it. Instead of doing gambling, why not invest in such money? Oh, let me now chip in this, whether it will be a positive advantage to someone who is actually listening to us. Somebody came to me during that CBS. I want to confess. And I think I have 700,000 naira in my account then. I just walked up to him as a friend and I said, guy, this money, I don't even know what to do with it. And everybody's talking about CBS. He said, my friend, please don't do it too. But there is this thing I do. I will not mention the name of that app so that it won't be in form of advertisement. Yeah. And he said, okay, why can't you fix this money? This 700,000, why can't you fix it on that app? And within the next 3 months, your 700,000 will generate certain amount of money for you. And I listened to him. And I fixed that money. Before man and God, 2 weeks after that discussion, 2 weeks after that fixing that 700,000 naira, CBS crashed. That 700,000 naira is in that account, doing fine. The interest is there, doing fine. So it is a kind of advice for someone out there that instead of going into gambling, doing online betting, going to go and play lotto, go and play direct, 3 direct, 2 direct, you can actually fix your money, put it in your bank account, fix it there. Few months to come, it will increase, and you can make use of the money for whatsoever you want to use it for.
Now, having looked at the risk, of course, and how it affects the family, you know, the relationship generally, let us consider the cause or causes of gambling. Why is it that people are going into gambling? What prompts them to go into gambling? What's the root? Because there must have been something that will prompt an individual, you know, to gamble, to put everything that he or she owns, you know, to gamble for a particular thing. So what is the cause of gambling?
Thank you for that question. There is something, thank God for Baptist, thank God for Royal Ambassador. I will switch to peer influence. And that peer influence alone, without even talking about any other thing, we answer that question. But before I drive there, I need to give thanks to Baptist, give thanks to Royal Ambassador, give thanks to Sunbeam, and give thanks to some of our leaders when some of us were younger. When you ask that question, I quickly remember our leaders, people like Pastor Shionifade, Dr. Shegun Adejare, Dikin Femi, Adirogba, who were our leaders when some of us were younger. They made us realize that as peer, we should not be influenced. That there is something they used to tell, I can remember vividly, they used to teach us then, peer influence. And what do we mean by that peer influence? Oh, my friend is doing this. Okay, let me also do it. It happens that I don't do it, I'm a Christian, I'm born again, I don't do some of those things. But I have a friend who does that. You're asking for the cost and why are people doing it. Now, and I'm not driving at it that people do it because some people are influenced by friends, by peer. That, oh, I have a friend who does this, I can tell you this, for you to act, for me to hammer on that particular name. Somebody came to me during that CBS. I'm still talking about peer influence. He said he's a friend, he's a good friend. He said, Mr. Ola, I have somebody who just bought car 3 days ago. He withdrew 15 million naira from CBS. He has started probably 2 years ago. And I'm talking about influenced. When he was saying it, I was moved. But I remember a friend who told me, why can't you fix this money? I'm talking about peer influence. You are asking that why? Now, somebody know that this thing is fire and is still putting hands there. So that's the question, that people know this thing is, there are many risks. Then why are they doing it? It is because if you allow your mind to be influenced by anyone as youth, you can do what is wrong. Even if you know that it's wrong, you will do it. So it is a message for someone that we need to guide our mind. People, of course, people will come to you, this thing is this thing is good, and this is what people are doing, and they are making money. Somebody who told me that someone just bought a car, 15 million car, that he will do 15 million and he used it to buy a car 3 days ago. One will be influenced. One will be kind of, oh, I love this. Why can't I put my own little money to it, whether it will grow? But if you are someone who can guide your mind, who have a self-control, of course, even if people are telling you this thing is bad, but let's do it, you will not do it because you can control your mind.
Now let's move back to the Royal Ambassador of Nigeria. Yes, the Royal Ambassador of Nigeria has been, working tirelessly to curb the social vices in the society, and we know that gambling is one of them. Especially if we look at statistics, most people that gamble, most of them are the male gender. Of course, female also gamble. But how is the Royal Ambassador of Nigeria? How is this organization curbing, gambling in the society and also among the boys?
Thank you so much for that good question. The Royal Ambassador of Nigeria, and particularly Royal Ambassador of Ibadan Baptist Conference, I want to give thanks to our leader, Councillor Juwon. And I also want to give kudos to our leader too, the coordinator of anti-social vices in Ibadan Baptist Conference, Councillor Shegun Adebisi. There is this program we do every month. We call it Transformation Hour. And it's an anti-social vices club webinar series we do it monthly. Even many occasions I've partake, and I've been invited as guest on that particular transformation hour. And this is a program that actually tune boys. What I mean by tune, you know, when somebody is tuning a radio, probably there is a particular frequency you want to switch to, and you are not getting it there. Probably it's making noise. You will continue tuning it so that till you get it. Now, asking about gambling, that we discover that male gender are doing it. Particularly, we can trace it to some of our boys. Now, how are we trying to curb them? This particular transformation hour program I have mentioned is a particular program we are using to tune our boys. And even Ibadan conference, we are working tirelessly. Take for instance, we have 1,000 march against social vices that we are going to, the program is going to be held by the last week of June, this particular month. We are going to make it to go viral, we'll generate traffic on it so that the entire Nigerian youth will have access to watch us, to see what we are doing. We will be going to Ibarakwa zone, so that when we get there, we are going to touch each communities. And what are we going to talk about? These are the topics we are going to talk about. It's part of the topics we are going to talk about when we get there. That because we want to see, I like one thing. I don't like hiding under a finger. Many of our boys, not royal ambassador, but out there, some of them are Yahoo guys. And why do they get there? It started from these little things. Somebody who has actually put his money into gambling and the money is not coming forth. And he has a friend, probably who is a Yahoo guy, who is making money, can be influenced. Like what I've said, what I've talked about, peer influence, can be influenced. But we believe that catch them young will help us as an organization. And that's the reason why we felt that even starting from when somebody joined Royal Ambassador at the age of 10 years, from assistant intern, before you reach the rank of extra ambassador plenipotentiary, we need to be guiding them. Some of our exams that we are writing in camp, there are so many of those questions that in the question, apart from what question that comes from the Bible, so question that comes from Sunday school, I mean current affair question like this, write 5 or 100 words about gambling and the risk. Somebody who has written that, who actually writes the risk, will not be able to go there. And we have seminars, series of seminars during camp, during our camping, during our annual hiking program, so many seminars, leadership training. And in our leadership training, we are building leader. It is not good for you as a leader finding you playing gambling. If you want to become a good leader tomorrow, you must be a good follower today. And that's the reason why Royal Ambassador as an organization, thank God for the life of Baptist. And that's why people like us, I don't know, people like us cannot leave Baptist denomination. I can say it anywhere. I traveled to Cross River State where I served like 12 years or like 2015 when I was serving as a copper in Cross River State. I was looking for Baptist. I was able to serve, and I did my NYSC at I think there is a particular organization there, but the name of the Baptist I worship with, Gateway Baptist Church, Calabar. Till date, I still have personal relationship with them because I cannot leave Baptist. Why? They have catch some of us wrong. And that's why I mentioned the name of some of our leaders who actually bring us up. So Royal Ambassador has so many organizations, so many programs, so many seminars, and like the one I've told you, 1,000 march against social vices. Because it's not only gambling that's social vices.
Yes.
We have drug, gambling, smoking, thuggery. We have so many of them, but we are working tirelessly to make sure that we curb it. And that helps us as an NGO. And social vices is an NGO. Royal Ambassador is an organization. Give birth to an NGO, a non-governmental organization called Anti-Social Vices. We have worked with organizations like National Youth Council of Nigeria, Oyo State SACA, and different NGO. Royal Ambassador has worked with an organization like Trailblazer Initiative Nigeria, Life Impact Global Foundation. These are the NGOs who are also working to make sure that the society is good. And that is the reason why so many times they invite our leaders to seminar. I mean those organizations I have mentioned. And we call something TOT, training of trainers. If somebody has gone for a step-down training, if somebody has gone for a program, a seminar, he can come back home to come and disseminate what he has learned there. So a lot of things are going on in Royal Ambassador to make sure that our boy, we can beat our chest for them. Thank you.
Now, before I let you go, you were once the coordinator of Anti-Social Vices Club, and of course you're a resource person when it comes to fighting social vices in the society. So how can families, how can individuals, how can the society, how can we help, those that are addicted to gambling? You mentioned earlier that some boys are also, gamblers. So let's bring it to, the Royal Ambassador. You've detected, or that some people are, addicted to gambling, to a social vice called gambling. How are you helping them? Or how do you plan to help gamblers so that they will leave this particular vice and turn a new leaf? So how are you helping them?
Thank you so much. I have a very good listening here. And I would like to correct something. No Royal Ambassador boy is a gambler.
Gambler, yes, he said boys.
No single Royal Ambassador boy in the whole of Nigerian Baptist Convention is a gambler. But we are looking at some of these boys can have friends that want to influence them. So the question now see, how can we guide them? I strongly believe as an advocate, I strongly believe in awareness. I strongly believe passionately in awareness. And what do I mean? How do I mean? What does this mean? It means that if Yoruba always say something, Ishu atenumoran ki dono. I don't know, maybe I can convert that so that we can understand for some of our listeners who are not Yoruba. Ishu atenumoran ki dono means whatsoever you are talking about from time to time will change to positive. Even if that thing is negative. Once you continue, you are not tired of saying it. You are not tired of correcting it. Now, awareness means we keep talking to our boys. We will not say, okay, a pastor came to my church one day for revival, and he said a language I can never forget in my life. He said, after that message, he said, that word means, where I stood, I asked myself, it means it is a continual process. I will not say because I went to church last week Sunday, I won't go next week Sunday. That at least maybe I have worshiped God and that is enough. No. After this program we have mentioned 1,000 March Against Social Vices, we will still bring another program. We believe that our boys' hearts is tender. They can be influenced. But even if the society wants to influence them, we are training them to go and change society positively. So awareness is a solution to that. So when we continue mentioning it, when we continue sensitizing them, some of us were, let me be sincere. Some of us when we were younger, we were tough. But today, some leaders cook us. They cook us and we become better in the society today. So we believe that no matter how their heart is, even if they have friends who are Yahoo, even if they have friends who are gamblers, we will train them, we will transform them so that they can transform the society.
Thank you very much, Councillor Olamusis. Thank you for the enlightenment on gambling, a social vice eroding the society. Trust me, this is not the end of talking about social vices in the society. Next week, by God's grace, we are going to still talk about another social vice that is eroding, that is eating deep into the society. And that's what we'll be taking on our interview segment for today. Let's take a break, and after which Frontline will continue. Do stay with us.